Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now this actually won't be a Mosh Pits episode. Instead, as I was scrolling through Twitter of all places yesterday, I came by a post which said, hey you guys, this is the review that Facebook has done on The Social Dilemma. That is a really great movie slash documentary that you should actually be watching on Netflix. So I thought to myself, like, should I perhaps do a video on this? And well, apparently I just woke up and I was like getting ready to write some sort of a script and get this video done for you. So yeah, why not begin right now? This is, like I said, will not actually be done in the same way that I do all of my other videos on Mosh Pits, where I generally cover a lot of news and I give you more pictures of that and you generally see my face more. I think I'm gonna be showing more what Facebook has actually written and give my commentary over that, basically. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, if you're unaware about what The Social Dilemma is, like I said, this is a Netflix documentary that has gotten quite a lot of attention since it has been published on the streaming platform. With that kind of a title, I guess you shouldn't wonder yourself like, wow, how did it get so much attention? Now, I wanted to break it down to you if you haven't seen it in very simple terms, because this video will be more about Facebook's review rather than talking about the movie and if it's well shot and everything like that, because I really think you guys should watch it yourselves and get your own opinion about the movie or documentary, whatever you want to call it. If it's great or not, if it's fake news, let's say in this case. But I'd recommend to watch it. That's the main point of it. And while you're at it, I think you should also be watching Minimalism on Netflix as well, because that's also really well done and very mind-opening. Now, let's talk about The Social Dilemma before we get into what Facebook has said about it. Like I said a bazillion of times by this point, it's a movie, it's a documentary drama, in fact, as Netflix describes it. Now, the word drama is obviously being used in this case because of the story's plot and how it's all shot, edited, and overall portrayed. Like, at times, it follows the life of a teenager who has become really addicted to his phone, and he's more or less being manipulated and driven by the three AIs that are within his device at this point. Now, this alternated, of course, with the interviews, because this is, like I said, not a movie, it's part documentary, part movie. It's a combination documentary drama, beautifully done, to be fair. I can't remember the last time I've seen something like this. And they also have quite some influential people, including Jaron Lanier, who is a very well-known computer scientist, and he also writes a lot of philosophy about computer science and has a lot of talks about social media. He's also someone that has worked a lot on multiple VR technologies. He's worked at Atari, yada yada yada. Great guy. And I'm also gonna be linking, I think, 1 or 2 videos or interviews where he was talking about social media, because that's his thing at this point. Either way, among those other people, we had ex-Google employee Tristan Harris, we had people from NVIDIA, Twitter, someone from Harvard who was a Harvard professor. Well, I don't know if she was still one, but either way, lots of great people. And it's not like they were asking your average Joe about like, hey, what do you think about social media? Is this something really good, or is it all bad, or what do you think? Give me your hottest take on it. No, that wasn't the idea. But with that being said, they covered like really big issues, including social media, addiction, AI, big data, marketing, what the role of governments are, and a plethora of other aspects and issues within this movie slash documentary drama. Just a plethora of things. But with that out of the way right now, because I think you got some sort of idea about it, let's just talk about Facebook's review. And I will also be doing a reading of their 2-page script and discuss some of the parts of it. So I guess now it's time to change the camera view to their review. Okay, so we're in the document right now, and as you can see, it says, what the social dilemma gets wrong. We should have conversations about the impact of social media on our lives. Yes, we indeed should, Facebook. But the social dilemma buries the substance in sensationalism. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say so. I mean, they do obviously have some parts, because like I said, it's a documentary drama. It's also part of a movie, so yeah, I could see that, but it's not all sensationalism as they want you to believe it is. Rather than offer a nuanced look at technology, it gives a distorted view of how social media platforms work to create a convenient scapegoat for what are difficult and complex societal problems. Yeah, well, you kind of need to explain it somehow to the average Joe, don't you? The film's creators do not include insights from those currently working at the companies or any experts that take part or that take a different view to the narrative put forward by the film. Yeah, about that. We'll get to that, I guess. They also don't acknowledge, critically or otherwise, the efforts already taken by companies to address many of the issues they raise. Instead, they rely on commentary from those who haven't been on the inside for many years. Here are the core problems the film gets wrong. And before we get into the core problems that the movie allegedly gets wrong, I want to say that of course they don't necessarily only talk to people that are still working at the company, because guess what, Facebook? If they would, they could get fired from the company. It's pretty much like you would be talking BS about your boss, or like, I don't know, sharing trade secrets in this case, and that could also get you into a lawsuit, aside from getting you fired, aside from, hey, you know, losing social cred, I guess, in this case, because just imagine, I mean, unless you're someone like Edward Snowden, who is now portrayed like a hero in this case, you also have to realize that even those people, like I said, like Edward Snowden, they are also hated by just as many people. But yeah, so they don't talk to people from within those companies. Okay, but as much as I get the point that they're trying to make, like I said, this being people that have been that have left the company or that have been kicked out, obviously you could say, or you could argue, that they might have a bias against the company or their ex-employer, and say that they were doing horrible things, that, you know, they would be doing those things to get media attention, or to I don't know, get their name out there. Perhaps they want to get another job. Of course, like, you can have those thoughts, but then again, if we're talking about Facebook and you look at all the media coverage that it has been getting, I think you could make that this is at least partially true, what they're saying within the movie. Now, a current employer, like I said, might fear being kicked out of the company, because, you know, you don't need to put your tinfoil hat to be able to think about this, because if you talk about your boss in in a way that's not most pleasant, or yeah, and you're casting shade, or like I said, talking about trade secrets, you won't only get that minus social cred score, you might also get fired. And we have to realize that Facebook, of all companies, has a ton of employees, and no matter their position or their level, they also happen to have some real life themselves. You know, they also have mortgages that they have to pay, they have friends and family that they need to take care of, and in most cases this can only be solved, or their lives can only be made bearable, I would say in this case, by working at such a company and getting all those benefits that they offer. Because I'm pretty sure a company like Facebook, much like Google, much like Nvidia, much like a bazillion other big companies, they offer some pretty nice benefits for their employees. And I'm not trying to, again, I'm not trying to poop on Facebook. I do think that they generally also have great people working there, because like I said, out of more than 52,000 employees, and this is talking about employees that are working worldwide for the company as of July of 2020, and I really think that out of these many people, they also happen to have people that are generally interested in the betterment of the human society, out of all things, not only the betterment of the company and getting more revenue and whatnot, but of course out of these people you are also going to have people that are really driven only by money, and people that can be, well, you could at least describe them as evil in this case. But let's move on. You know, they say they won't discuss with current experts and rely on commentary from people who've been outside of the company or the tech space for a long time, and I doubt this is the case, because as someone who has worked with within a big corporation, I can tell you that things don't change that quickly out there, and definitely not at Facebook, you know, where they are where they have millions and millions of tiny gears trying to make the big machine work in this case. Okay, let's jump into the first thing that Facebook has covered here, this being addiction, and they're saying about it, Facebook builds its products to create value, not to be addictive. Yeah, about that, Facebook, we're gonna get into it. Our newsfeed product teams are not incentivized to build features that increase time spent on our products. Instead, we want to make sure we offer value to people, not just drive usage. Do you really believe that, Facebook? I mean, you offer value to people? Come on. Because if you were, then you wouldn't have changed every platform that you own to show a bazillion of ads and no longer actual content from friends and family that people really want to watch. And this is also something that Marton has mentioned in one of his latest videos. I'm going to be linking to it somewhere around here. And if this is done in picture-in-picture mode, because I didn't even realize I'm going to edit this video, you know, just either go into the video description down below or in the info cards above. But you know what, let's resume to it. You always seem to say that this is for the better and you want to increase discoverability for people. I'm talking about Facebook, of course, in this case. They want people to see like all those benefits that they're offering. Like, benefits to who in this case? Like, who benefits mostly from discoverability? You're trying to say that those are content creators, you know, rising stars, aspiring people and whatnot. No, you are the one who's profiting most from this thing, because guess what, this means you're making more and more money. Like, the more people come to your platform, the more people become those rising aspiring stars, you know, they become influencers instead of content creators, as I prefer calling, because I prefer that name, because I hate the word influencer. Nevertheless, you know, you're the one who's making most bank out of these people, believe it or not. Now, you know, and now I'm trying to think of what he was saying, like what Mark Zuckerberg said at this point. Senator, we sell ads. And had a cunning smile at that point. That's what I hear in my head right now. But let's move on, because for example, in 2018 we changed our ranking for newsfeed to prioritize meaning, social interactions, and deprioritize things like viral videos. The change led to a decrease of 50 million hours a day worth of time spent on Facebook. This isn't the kind of thing that you do if you're simply trying to drive people to use your services more. Come on, Facebook. Like, you deprioritize viral videos, but you also made Facebook video a thing, or whatever the hell you call your video service at this point. I don't even know how to call it. Either way, like, you're making so many changes to just show more and more videos to people that are exactly the same. You also counted impressions as actual views to show that to your investors and tell them like, hey, you know, 50 million people, 60 million, I don't know how many people are watching our videos right now. But instead you were counting views the wrong way. You were basically saying that someone who scrolled through and looked at, like, I don't know, the 2-3 seconds of preview that they were getting. Yeah, that's a view. Hey, they watched it, they've seen it. Give us more money now, advertisers. You know, that's really stupid to do. And come on, you're not deprioritizing, like I said, those viral videos. You're only making them pop up more and more, but in a I don't know, friendlier way, as you would like to call it, because you always say that you talk to experts. I think the time whenever you talk to experts, you're like, hey guys, how can we do it in a really nice way that we get more money out of it, more traction, more interaction, more engagement, whatever, but also don't freak people the hell out. I think that's generally how your discussions usually go with the top experts. But okay, this kind of goes well with the next paragraph, which says, we collaborate with leading mental health experts, organizations, and academics, and have our research teams devoted to understanding the impact that social media may have on people's well-being. Yeah. It rather seems to be that you work with them to do exactly the opposite, in this case, as I was saying before. But okay, let's carry on. Let's see what else you have to say. Now, we want people to control how they use our products, which is why we provide time management tools. Okay, I gotta be talking about this one. Like an activity dashboard, a daily reminder, and ways to limit notifications. We've already started dedicating product teams to focus on other areas such as loneliness, racial justice, mentorship, mental health, and responsible innovation. So, I said that I'm going to be talking about their tools, and you know what? Don't you provide those things because of certain regulations and because of certain outcry that people have been really complaining about at this point, much like it's been shown in the movie, because people were saying that they're becoming addicted to those things. You know, we have a lot of research that actually shows this thing. And do you even promote those things as much as you promote those dog videos that you're showing to me even a month after I left Facebook and came back? Like, I'm still getting golden retriever videos, and I'm not even kidding. Like I said, a month after having deactivated my Facebook profile as a test, by the way, I still had the same videos pop up as recommendations and getting them into my notifications being like, hey, would you like to watch this? But okay, let's play devil's advocate and say that's the algorithm trying to learn what I like about your platform, or not about your platform, because I personally wouldn't say I do enjoy it that much, but and they're giving me more of what I like, those being golden retriever videos apparently. But wait, isn't that exactly what you shouldn't be doing with regards to your algorithm, and also with regards to not creating a filter bubble? You know, you're sending me into a never-ending loop like you have whenever you're browsing YouTube after midnight. Where's the reminder of like, yo Alex, those are too many golden retriever videos, bro. Go out and perhaps pet a real dog, get yourself a real one instead. Go to Berlin, of all places, and also pet Marton's cute little dog, Fifi. I mean, he's not that little, but yeah. There should be a picture of him somewhere around here. Nevertheless, I for one never seen that happen, but I have to admit that I'm of course a sample size of only one person, which by all means is considered small. However, I don't remember seeing headlines about how Facebook is really pushing this feature towards its users, because guess what? They would lose that sweet money, and I'm talking about advertising money, of course, in this case, if they were to do something like that. And as I say, 50 million hours watched is nothing, because you don't want to lose the platform that you have created, and this is definitely something that advertisers don't want you to hear say, because yeah, you're gonna lose them. Now, okay, the next paragraph says, we will continue innovating and coming up with new tools to help people stay safe. I sure as hell hope you do, because let me also be doubtful and believe that you're doing this to improve not only your brand's image, because yeah, about that, do you remember when you tried implementing an update within your app saying that Apple takes a 30% cut of your purchase every time you buy a ticket from us? That was with regards to Facebook events and Facebook tickets. Now, let's be real here. Like, you wanted to help people, obviously you're trying to say this, but you also wanted to hurt one of your biggest competitors, which is Apple, you know? And you also talk about them like, yeah, they are bigger than us, because you had those hearings where you were there with Tim Cook, or should I call him Tim Apple in this case, and Jeff Bezos and Sundar Pichai, where you're like, yeah, they're far bigger than us and they're a big competitor. In this case, you're technically doing this because you want to also take from Apple's shares, and in this case, I'm again not condoning the 30% cut of purchase, and that's an entire discussion that I don't want to get into, but don't really say that you're doing this only to help the people that have been affected by the human malware and all of these other horrible things that are happening in the world right now. You're not really a protector, Facebook, are you? Okay, let's go into point number 2 that Facebook is making with regards to their review of the social dilemma. You are not the product. Facebook is funded by advertising so that it remains free for people. Yeah, whenever I hear you're not the product or a free product, I can already hear Mudahar from some ordinary gamers either laugh at this or screeching in terror. Now, no, Facebook, free means you're the product in this case, because that's whatever happens whenever advertisements come into play. Free is free only when there are legitimately no strings attached to it. No cookies, I guess, other than functional cookies. You can make the argument for that. No information being exchanged, nothing else that can actually be exchanged or help and track you. Heck, even that might not even be free in this case without even having those things sent out to you, because you're still influencing one's opinion, even that, especially whenever you're giving something free to someone. And that's just psychology 101, and I'm very sure you know those things, that whenever you give someone something for free, in this case, even if then that would be this thing in this case, or I don't know, a bottle of water, you're still technically going to influence their opinion. And I think Steve from Gamers Nexus has also talked about it in a really nice way, and this is why they don't accept any gifts from companies that they review on their channel. But you know what, let's just scrap what I just read and thought to myself and read what more you have to say. Now, this model allows this model allows small businesses and entrepreneurs to grow and compete with bigger brands by more easily finding new customers. Of course, again, it's about you making money yet again. But even when businesses purchase ads on Facebook, they don't know who you are. Yeah, about that. We provide advertisers with reports about the kinds of people who are seeing their ads and how their ads are performing, but we don't share information that personally identifies you unless you give us permission. There you go. You do still give them our information because we gave them or gave you permission. In this case, in those very nice terms and conditions that you're giving us, or other pieces of information that nobody reads, and you're like, well, it's your problem that you didn't read it, it was there. But yeah, you're not making it really transparent, Facebook, are you, in this case? Where were we? Okay, yeah, we don't sell your information to anyone. No, come on. Nobody trusts you with that. You can always see the interest assigned to you in your ad preferences, and if you want, you can remove them. About that, there is actually a video that Marton has made that should be linked in the info card somewhere around here, or like I said, in the video description. Nevertheless, you're going to be able to find it if you're looking for it. This is actually one of his older videos, because there's a plethora of data that you are collecting on us when we're actually not on the platform. And this is what I don't think it was actually Marton who first exposed it. I think he also found it somewhere on Twitter or wherever the heck he found it. But it's really interesting, and you should actually be looking into it, because Facebook is tracking you even when you're not on its platform, because so many websites now have a Facebook, some sort of a Facebook integration, and they can see where you've been, how long you were browsing that content for, what you clicked, what you liked, and all those things, you know. And you have the most brilliant lawyers and people working for you, making so that everything has a loophole and everything is done really legit, and you know, no issues right over here. It's all been in our terms and conditions, and whatever the hell you are also delivering to people. And what else did I want to say? You as a company had many issues where A, people's data was leaked, B, people's accounts were free and up for grabs because they were not properly secured, C, passwords and storing them like unencrypted on servers and being up for grabs yet again. Yeah, not really great, is it? Now, the fact that you can delete your interests, and you pointed that out, yes, you can do that, but how transparent really is that? Because whenever you go to those things, they are always buried somewhere where you cannot find it. Like even on a platform like Discord, canceling Discord Nitro is not really that intuitive and that easy as it is to actually get Discord Nitro, in this case, as I experienced myself yesterday or 2 days ago. Because they make that look like it's not an actual clickable thing that they have. It kind of looks like this is just it's going to be split into categories. So come on, this is not friendly design. You're making those choices to not make people to want to leave your platform or to be able to. That's why you have all those tutorials where you can find like how can I quit this platform, how can I delete, blah blah blah. You know, those are really popular videos. Now let's go into algorithms, where you say Facebook's algorithm is not mad. It keeps the platform relevant and useful. Facebook uses algorithms to improve the experience for people using our apps, just like dating apps, well, just like any dating app, Amazon, Uber, or Uber should I say in this case, and countless other consumer-facing apps that people interact with every day. That also includes Netflix, which uses an algorithm to determine who it thinks should watch The Social Dilemma and its movie, and it recommends it to them. This happens with every piece of content that appears on our service. Algorithms and machine learning improve our services. For example, at Facebook, we use them to show content that's more relevant to what people are interested in, whether it's sports, whether it's posts from friends or ads. Portraying algorithms as mad may make good fodder for conspiracy documentaries, but the reality is a lot less entertaining. How about that? Well, your algorithm has to be mad at some point, because believe it or not, it is, and it can also be biased, because anything involving coding, machine learning, or anything that remotely involves, like I said, big data can be biased, can be flawed, can be hacked, and can be misused, believe it or not. So don't kid yourself that it isn't mad, because many times it has been without you even realizing it is. Now, comparing algorithms like that simply isn't fair, to be fair with you, since they don't work the same way. But I get how you're get how and why you want to hit on things like Netflix in this case, because obviously they promoted the hell out of this documentary, and also on Amazon and Uber, because guess what? They're your competitors, especially Amazon in this case, because they also sell a bazillion of things, just like you're trying to do on your platform. And I generally think that you're tweaking your algorithm, you know, but you're tweaking it to sell and make people click on even more ads instead of making them see wholesome content, or, you know, whatever is really important to them, just like seeing, like I said, their friends' posts, because now they're seeing more and more from companies and advertisers instead of seeing what they really want to see on the platform. Because how you motivate it is like, no, but they're still clicking on those things, they're interacting with them, what have you, they like them, it's great. No, you created a new set of needs that they didn't have before, and this way you made them really addicted to the platform, because they didn't have those needs before. Whenever they registered on the platform, they were there to see their friends' posts, they were there to see, I don't know, some really small news or what have you. I don't know why people register to Facebook or any other social media in the first place. But now what you've done is like you created a different special set of needs that people have. Like they want to see what this company has done, they want to see what their friends are doing, but instead they're being filled, yet another time that I'm saying this, with more and more and more and more ads, and whoever has the top dollar is going to get that impression from you, because guess what? That's what you're doing. And yeah, with that being said, I think it's time to move on to the next one. Now let's look into data, which says Facebook has made improvements across the company to protect people's privacy. Over the last year, we have made significant changes as part of our agreement with the Federal Trade Commission. I wonder why, Facebook. We've created new safeguards for how data is being used, given people new controls on how to manage their data, and now have thousands of people working on privacy-related projects so that we can continue to meet our privacy commitments and keep people's information safe. How did that work out for you? Not great, is it? Now, despite what the film suggests, because I'm saying, you know, Cambridge Analytica, 2016, nevertheless, despite what the film suggests, we have policies that prohibit businesses from sending us sensitive data about people, including users' health information or social security numbers, through business tools like Facebook, Pixel, and SDK. We don't want this data. About that. And we take steps to prevent potentially sensitive data by businesses from being used in our systems. We have called publicly for regulators around the world to join us in helping to get the rules of the internet right, and we support regulation that can guide the industry as a whole. This is a really interesting thing to talk about. Now, this is something we'd ask of leaders, not run from. Okay, so let's look at this. You don't want sensitive data like social security numbers? What about asking people to send their IDs to prove that they're human? Are you trying to tell me that after you get this information, you scan it and you just delete it off of your platform forever? I'm really skeptical about that, Facebook. Come on. You want to, I don't know, you want to work with the regulators to create laws that will, you know, improve the internet as a whole, as you're saying? No. If you were to do that, that would be like one of the biggest disasters, if not the biggest disasters for the industry as a whole. So I genuinely hope you don't get to do that, because you're going to be enforcing your mindset, you're going to be enforcing whatever the hell is going on your mind and at this point, and trying to make your platform better. And I don't think I am the best person to talk about this, but all the experts have said that they are super against letting this happen, because that would be, again, a total disaster. Because like I said, you would generally make your company look a lot better and perform a lot better than all of those of the competitors. So I really hope that doesn't actually happen. Now let's look at number 5, which is polarization. We take steps to reduce content that could drive polarization. The truth is that polarization and populism have existed long before Facebook and other online platforms were created, and we consciously take steps within the product, to manage and minimize the spread of this kind of content. The overwhelming majority of content that people see on Facebook is not polarizing or even political. Come on, for real now? Like, no. It's everyday content from people's friends and family. Really? Is that what you're trying to say? That this is what people see? No. People see a lot of ads, and they also see a lot of news that are most of the time, believe it or not, political, because this pays a lot of money for you, Facebook. Oh my god, every time I'm on Facebook, which is really rare nowadays, but either way, then even now when I went back to the platform, I like all the things that I could see on the platform were things that were either related to politics or a bazillion of ads at this point. But yeah, let's look at what else they're saying. While some posts from more polarizing news sources get a lot of interactions, likes, or comments, this content is a tiny percentage of what most people see on Facebook. Where? In what state? Where exactly is this happening? News from these kinds of pages doesn't represent the most viewed news stories on Facebook either. Yeah, those are golden retriever videos that are the most viewed, I guess, and whatever BuzzFeed posts. We reduce the amount of content that could drive polarization on our platform, including links to clickbait headlines or misinformation. Yeah, I think you're only doing it now because, well, only with regards to human malware, I'm trying to say, but you were surely not doing this, what, 2 months ago, I guess? We conduct our research and directly fund that of independent academics to better understand how our products might contribute to polarization so that we can continue to manage this responsibly. Well, okay. Are you actually doing this? Doesn't look like it. Because let's start talking about the whole polarization aspect. Like, you can't help against that. It's simply how it is, because you have so many groups. As someone who has seen some horrible groups on Facebook, including those that are like totally boomer groups or totally Karen groups, as long as they are on the platform, good luck with not spreading the wrong message and creating polarization in this case, because it's still a mystery how this problem could ever be fixed at this point. Now, your platform, as many others, are all made to create a filter bubble, like I was saying throughout this video. Clickbait articles are still alive and well, believe it or not, and they do incredibly well on the platform, I would say, because I've seen this even a month of not being on the platform, because your algorithm is going to serve people whatever content they'll click on, which in turn also means whatever brings you the most money, this is what the algorithm is going to show them. And this kind of reminds me of The Social Dilemma and their whole part when they were like doing like, we sold this advertiser for 18 cents or whatever the hell that wasn't, like he was pushing a button and like and scrolling through a high number of different advertisers. And yeah, it's simply how it unfortunately works, because your algorithm, as I said, is going to serve people whatever content they will click on, which in turn will bring you more money, because your investors and advertisers are saying like, look, those are the, well, you are going to be telling your advertisers technically, look, those are how many things we've done for you. You got engagement, you've got reach, it's all here, come on, give us more money. And speaking of that, you'll also tell them from small to big via notifications that they should technically spend more on advertising on Facebook, because as someone who has a page on Facebook, you tend to remind me even with emails like, hey, how about you spend like $5, $10, or how you do even more things and pay for those things to reach even more people. Isn't that great? Come on, isn't that what you want? Come on, give us some money. So yeah, not great, is it? Now let's look into elections, because that's really important, and speaking of which, those are coming really soon if you live in the United States, so I guess go register and go vote. Now let's look at what Facebook has to say with regards to that. Facebook has made investments to protect the integrity of elections. With our knowledge, we've made mistakes in 2016. Yeah, we did a lot of them, and not only in 2016 with Cambridge Analytica. And hey, about that, look at how the world looks like because of that. Yet the film leaves out what we have done since 2016 to build strong defenses to stop people from using Facebook to interfere in elections. Well, you should have done that a lot earlier, because now it sure looks like hell on earth. We've improved our security and now have some of the most sophisticated teams and systems in the world to prevent attacks. We've removed more than 100 networks worldwide engaging in coordinating inauthentic behavior over the past couple of years, including ahead of the major global elections since 2016. To make ads, in particular political social ones, more transparent, in 2018 we created an ad library which makes all ads running on Facebook visible to people even if you didn't see them in your own feed, and we label and archive any social issue and election ads in that library for 7 years. We also have policies prohibiting voter suppression, and in the US, between March and May this year alone, we removed more than 100,000 pieces of Facebook and Instagram content for violating our voter interference policies. I mean, okay, if you're saying it, I guess, because I haven't really looked into it, but sure, it sure sounds reassuring. Does this mean we actually won't have any problems this year around? I doubt it, and I'm not necessarily trying to blame you at this point, because, I mean, yeah, of course you own the platform, but I also understand that this is really something that's really hard and difficult to deal with at this point, but do better. That didn't sound like the best argument, I guess, but sure, let's move on. In addition, we've kicked off other efforts to secure the integrity, man, words are really difficult, of the US election by encouraging voting, connecting people to reliable election information, and updated our policies to counter attempts by a candidate or campaign to prematurely declare victory or delegitimize the election by questioning official results. Now, you were talking that this was that you've made mistakes, you know. You didn't make mistakes, you created a whole disaster, and I think a lot of people can agree that we're now paying for. Now, we've also added those political ads information to avoid yet another epic fail like last time in 2016. You're trying to avoid like people's hate and people's anger and trying to stay relevant, you know, and it works towards the average consumer, because they're just gonna eat up everything that you're telling them in a really nice and well thought out way, and with this, yeah, with this document that you're making. I wanted to call it a manifesto, but I guess it's just a review of the social dilemma and what it gets wrong. Now, I, as much as the next person, really hope that indeed you are going to be taking big steps to avoid such catastrophes next time, and also this time around on, I think, the 3rd of November. But I'm sure your eyes are on a bigger prize with regards to the elections and whatever you are going to do this election. Plus, before I move on to the last thing onto your list, if you're playing into the big leagues and you become so influential like you've done, and I'm obviously not talking only about Facebook, but of course of its CEO as well. Like I said, you're playing in the big leagues, which means there is no escaping from either government regulations and having to work together with them, but not in the way that serves the citizens, because they're also interested in gaining more data about us and influencing our opinions at this point, because that's just how it all works, and you can't really deny it. It has happened before, it has been portrayed in many books, in many movies at this point, and it has also been shown by Edward Snowden and by many other people that are talking about the behind the scenes with regards to all social media platforms and how we're being manipulated at this point. And you can't deny it, because if you would not accept to work with governments or to do whatever they're asking you to do, and if you deny it at this point, you lose your access to the masses. It's clear as day at this point. But let's go into misinformation, because maybe I am misinformed about the things that I'm saying at this point. We fight fake news, misinformation, and harmful information and harmful content using a global network of fact-checking partners. Hope you do. The idea that we allow misinformation to fester on our platform or that we somehow benefit from this content is wrong. Well, you do kind of benefit from it, not in the long run obviously, but in the short run you're making a lot of money because, like I said, clicks, ads, money, cha-ching, that's kind of how it works. Facebook is the only major social platform with a global network of more than 70 fact-checking partners who review content in different languages around the world. Content identified as false by our fact-checking partners is labeled and downranked in newsfeed. Well, downranked? It should be removed if it's fake, you know? Like, oh my, Facebook, come on, who wrote this for you? Misinformation that has potential to contribute to imminent violence, physical harm, and voter suppression is removed outright, including misinformation about the human malware, because I'm not allowed to say the other word. We don't want hate speech on our platform and work to remove it despite what the film says. While even one post is too many, we've made major improvements on this. We removed over 22 million pieces of hate speech in the second quarter of 2020, over 94% which we found before someone reported it. Great, seems like your machine learning is working after all. An increase from a quarter earlier when we removed 9.6 million posts, over 88 of which were found before someone reported it was. Okay, so you do have all the tools to make everything better, but it's not still 100%? Okay, let's believe that next year you're gonna get 100% of those things removed, because it seems to me that you went from 88 to 94%. Okay, we know our systems aren't perfect, and I know obviously you said that it's 94% out of those 22 million pieces, and there might have been 50 million pieces, you know, which is like the bigger picture that people should actually be looking at, because I don't know how many posts are on Facebook going live every second at this point, but I would assume it's like over 1,000 posts or whatever. Maybe it's even more. I haven't actually looked into it, but this kind of has to put things in perspective, because if you remove 22 million pieces, let's say you get 22 million pieces of content in a month, and you removed 94% of them, but you actually got 100 million pieces being posted in the same month. Well, have those potentially had harmful and hateful speech into them? Were they showing, I don't know, something that can be labeled as misinformation? I don't know, all those bad things. How many of those posts are still being left out and not being reported by people that kids or anyone who's on the platform would still get their eyes on at this point and being influenced? Well, we don't know yet, and like I said, I think this is like the bigger picture that people should actually look at instead of reading those numbers and being like, oh my god, they removed 22 million pieces, but before that they removed only 9.6 million. Man, they're making great changes on the platform right now. But either way, let's move on to what you're saying. We know our systems aren't perfect and there are things that we miss. Yeah, quite a lot, I would assume. But we're not idly standing by and allowing misinformation or hate speech to spread on Facebook. No, of course you're not doing that, because otherwise everyone would leave your goddamn platform at this point. Oh my. Okay, let's see what I wrote in this script, because I actually had a script for this as well, but I didn't really follow it because I went on to a ramble. I don't even know how long this video is going to be at this point, but let's see what I have here. Well, you do benefit from the content that is misinformation. I think that's what I said in the beginning as well. It's more eyeballs, it's more coverage, and this is what you want in the long run. Well, at least your advertisers want. Obviously, you can argue, like I said, you're going to lose a lot of those people, but those who were already on the platform that are going to leave it, I can assure you that those are people that were already on the brink of leaving your platform. Because I know people that would not leave your platform because they think of it as an extremely and outrageously great, trustworthy source. People that think that, you know, clearly edited photos are real, people that would read websites called realnews.com or like newsbasedonsources.com or like newsfromsources.com or whatever the hell they're called, because yes, those are real websites, just not in English, I would assume, and I think they are like, they have a .ro at the end, but that doesn't matter. I'm obviously talking about some Romanian websites. But yeah, with regards to hate speech and everything else, I sure hope that this is true. And in this sense, I have to admit, I have seen some action being taken to take down hateful content, but you're far from being perfect, as I said and alluded to before. Okay, but let's end the rant for now, because this is not the type of content that I do around here, but this is just something I really wanted to do after reading this last night. I actually wanted to record this just as a voiceover, but then I was like, what kind of images could I use? Should I just use the whole Facebook review of the social dilemma? Well, I technically didn't know, but the content that I have on my YouTube channel over here is mostly related to tech news, and this is what I'm doing with the Mosh Pit series. I'm going to link the playlist for that somewhere around here. If not, you're going to be able to find it in the video description. And yeah, I'm also planning on making more content such as reviews aside from my Mosh Pit series, and I most probably won't be doing that many of those rambling and like ranting videos, but I don't know, I just felt like doing this one. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section down below, and yeah, I guess I will be seeing you in the next Mosh Pits episode, which technically should come out tonight if I still have the time to do the research and record a video, edit it, and publish it around here. Otherwise, I'll be back really soon. This has been Alex with the Red Elk. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.